All right, exciting video today. Can't wait to share this information with you because today we tackle the topic of, isn't red meat really bad for your heart? Let's find out. So in a lot of these situations and a lot of things that we've done, we keep hearing a word come up over and over again, and that word is providence. The way things work out just tend to be an amazing coincidence. I like to say it's more of providence and God's involvement in this journey. But I had an incredible little story I wanted to share first. Today's video was supposed to be about the keto flu. I do want to touch on that a bit today because some of you might be experiencing some of the keto flu symptoms. This is when your body's going through that transition period and you've been probably on the standard American diet for a long time. Some people have a lot of headaches, they don't feel well. Some people even just feel sick. This is only temporary, and so I would just challenge you not to give up and make sure that you continue to fight through. Hopefully most of you are through any of that by now, but I have heard some, especially if they're coming from a really different transition, it may take a week up to 2 weeks to get through that. But once you get through it, you'll start feeling so much better. So rather than spending a whole segment on that, I did want to tell you about a different topic because really I think we get more questions on heart and the red meat for the heart and heart attacks and cholesterol and all the bad that is associated with the red meat and high fat for the carnivore diet. I happen to have an appointment with a company called ViaScan in Las Colinas, Texas, just yesterday. This is a scan that I started doing honestly in 2009 because my family has a history of heart disease and I wanted to make sure that I'm ahead of the game and I'm staying on top of it. This scan actually scans the body, the upper torso, depending on what type of scan you get, and it's able to see the imagery, is able to see it. It's like a CAT scan, goes through it, but it's very high tech and scans the heart. I actually did the full torso, so I was able to scan through several of my organs. It's early detection for cancers, tumors, and in particular in my situation, it was the plaque buildup in the heart and in the arteries, and wanted to make sure that we didn't have any concerns there. So my first scan was in 2009. Everything checked out pretty good. But 4 years ago in 2021, I actually got some results back that showed a little plaque buildup in my heart. Still a good score. It was relatively good. So, no immediate concerns with that. But the advice I did get was, come on back. We'll do the scan in about 4 or 5 years. We'll do it again and see how things are going. He also explained the expectation was gradually over time. It gets worse, so we want to keep track of that. And of course, if I'd have been eating the standard American diet, it probably would have been worse. But let me tell you the news I happened to get after being 2 years on carnivore. 2 years on carnivore of eating pretty much all red meat and a lot of fat. I kind of went into this scan with a little bit different approach. I was pretty excited about it. I was anxious to see what the results would be because I kind of had a feeling they were going to be good. So he sat me down after we did the scan. He reviews the results and he brings me into a room to go over it. And he reminds me that 4 years ago, my score was a 6.5, 7, which that was my plaque score, something they use. Anyway, just showing a little bit of plaque buildup. He reminded me that, I said, yes, I remember that. That's where I had a little bit of plaque there. We were a little concerned about. We just wanted to keep our eye on it. He goes, do you want to know what your score is today? I said, sure. Oh, by the way, he also said that was a good score. It was, well, better than a lot of people, good score, nothing to be too alarmed with. So that was good. Made me feel comfortable. He said, you want to know what your score is this year? And with a smile on my face, a little smirk probably, I said, sure, what's it this year? And he said, 0. There was 0 evidence of any plaque buildup left in the heart. So I went from a score, it was good. He said, this was his quote, you went from a good score to a phenomenal score, which again, I was kind of expecting, but it sure is cool when it's validated like that. I am not a doctor. I am doing my own experiment on myself through this carnivore diet. as many of you probably will be doing the same, because there's not a lot of specific scientific research that's out there on the carnivore diet. However, we continue to see result after result after result, and story after story after story of healing results like this. And it's amazing. Jordan Peterson says, when you have enough anecdotal evidence, at some point it's got to become a hypothesis, right? So when you continue to hear these crazy stories of miraculous healing, at some point you've got to look into the why behind it. And is there more to this? Is eating high-fat diet really that bad for you if it's animal fats? So I'd like to conclude this video today with two different segments. One is from our good Dr. Barry, because I think he explains this very, very well. And I had intended to actually put this in one of the videos to make sure you saw the conversation that he has with Kerry Mann. I think he nails it. I'm going to show you that. And then I want to conclude by showing you Kerry Mann's story. If you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty awesome. I won't show you the whole thing. I'll clip it out and I will link in the description to his full video, because if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Pretty phenomenal. And we'll go through that. I'll go through a few of the details. I'll try to clip it up for you so that you can get the gist of it in just a few minutes. But who knows? More and more evidence pointing to, I shouldn't say evidence, more and more stories pointing to incredible healing. But for me personally, is red meat and high-fat diet better for my heart? The results said it was. Went from 6 to 7 score on my plaque buildup in the heart to 0. 2 years of carnivore. Don't know when that was cleared out, but that's my story.
The carnivore diet's high saturated fat content raises LDL cholesterol. You're going to die of a heart attack. It's going to clog your arteries. You can't eat only meat.
Yeah, so thousands of people are eating only meat right now in the United States. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands around the world. There is no scientific study that has proven that red meat causes cancer or heart disease or any other negative health outcome. We have been eating red meat as a human species for exactly the same number of days as we've been drinking water and breathing air. And so when you say, oh, red meat's bad for you, that should be the same exact thing as saying, oh, breathing air is bad for you, or drinking water is bad for you. We've been doing all three for exactly the same number of days as a species. So there's no scientific proof that red meat causes heart disease or cancer or anything else. And we've been eating red meat for just as long as we've been breathing air and drinking water. How's that a problem?
As Dr. Barry tends to always do, knocked it out of the park. He's incredible. He really is. He's been so passionate about this for so long. He just has great information. I love watching Dr. Barry. The story of healing continues though, and I really want you to see this one, because this one really honestly blew my mind. I think it blew Kerry's mind when he first got the information as well. So I'll try and clip this together so you can see it. Stay tuned for the next few minutes and watch Kerry's story. Again, the full video is linked in the details of our show notes there. So enjoy this.
I'm about to go in there to get my heart echo ejection fraction congestive heart failure tested. I was a mess, and a couple years ago I had a TIA mini stroke, which led to several subsequent tests. Why is this dude having a mini stroke in his 30s? They did additional tests, and they determined, and they diagnosed me with, which is in my records, I'm going to show you on the screen here, congestive heart failure and cardiomyopathy. All of it in my records. You can also see in my records the multitude of different heart tests I've taken over the years, all these EKG leads, Holter monitors, heart monitors. I had an esophageal echocardiogram where they stuck a camera down my throat to monitor my heart. I had a heart catheter, actually went into my heart and checked my heart out. They determined and they diagnosed me with cardiomyopathy and congestive heart failure. My ejection fraction at the time was, I was 45%. And they said, listen, this is really unusual since you're so young. You have this crazy irregular heartbeat. It's beating all over the place. You have a PFO, which is a little hole in your heart, and you have this low ejection fraction. We're diagnosing you, my friend, with congestive heart failure. I'm like, am I gonna die? Heart failure, that sounds like I'm gonna die. On the standard American diet, most people are slowly dying anyhow. Congestive heart failure, that's basically like you're slowly dying. And they told me there's no cure for it. They told me it's a chronic thing, and at best, you could keep it the same, and most likely it's just gonna go up, but you're never gonna reverse it. It's not gonna go down. I'll show you some screenshots. I Googled, can you reverse congestive heart failure? Here's the first result that came up. So right there from the doctor, I was diagnosed earlier with cardiomyopathy, and now he's telling me I have no cardiomyopathy. So to quickly recap this, what have I done differently? I have eaten a proper human diet for 1 year. Prior to this, my entire 42 years on earth, I'm 43 now, minus the 1 year on carnivore, I had a highly erratic, highly irregular heartbeat. That has completely reversed on carnivore. I have a normal heartbeat now. After doing carnivore diet, I had an ejection fraction of 45, and I was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy, and per my doctor's notes right here in my records, I no longer have cardiomyopathy, and per the notes right here, it says 55. She said 60. We'll go with the lower 55. In either case, 55 is normal. So my low ejection fraction that caused them to diagnose me with congestive heart failure is now normal at 55. It's absolutely incredible. I'm doing this documentary, Healing Humanity, sharing incredible stories of individuals. I have overcome so many things, mainly the depression, anxiety, the stomach issues, the IBS, the arthritis, but I'm not unique. I keep hearing these stories from more people. That's the purpose of this documentary. I was sick of being sick for so long, and I want to learn from other people that are doing a proper human diet over the course of a year. What are they doing and what are their results? And what I found is, if you want to heal humanity, you have to heal yourself. And I'm finding people that are healing themselves, and it's miraculous. Like some of these stories of healing, they're absolutely unbelievable, but they're documented in their medical records before and after, and it's incredible.